This is class 10th, code 402. We are talking about employability skills, information and communication technology skills, unit number 3. Basic computer operation. We will be talking about computer, tablets, laptops. All these are computing devices. What are the basic operations that we do always? So that is what we are going to see today. ICT. Under basic computer operation, ICT, this word you will hear. This is information and communication technology. ICT stands for information is data which is having some meaning. Communication is talk, say between two parties, multiple parties. So communication and information. The technology which is combining this, or the methods, tools, concepts related to storing, recording and sending the digital information. So whenever we talk about information, we are talking about digital information here, data. So digital is in the form of 0, 1. Previously we used to have analog communication, analog kind of data storage. Now we have digital form. So information, this, as I said, data, which is, this can be interpreted and have some meaning. This can be recorded in certain way. Previously we used to write it on paper. Then we started typing it through typewriter. And then now we have keyboard. So now we can input the data through keyboard. And in your mobile, there is virtual keyboard. So this information, when this information is stored and this is recorded on electronic devices, I'm talking about all the devices. Storing means, and recording means, once you shut it off and again shut it on or power it on, the data should remain there. This is the digital form. So in these electronic devices, we have wiring, soldering, diode, triode. There are so many electronic things there. In all the tablets and mobiles you are day to day dealing with. The data is in digital form. Digital form is in the form of 0101. So this 801 formation is called a byte. And then we have, this is the minimum say counting or unit. Byte becomes kilobyte, then megabyte, then gigabyte, and so on and so forth, gigabyte, etc. So this 0 and 1, the form is, the data is 0 and 1. This is digital form. So ICT, information and communication technology devices, are generally when we talk about tablets, smartphones and laptops. So how did this help us? The smallest one we have in our hand is the mobile. So these all have operating system. That is why we are calling now the mobile as smartphones. Smart mobiles. For example, we have Android operating system, Apple iOS operating system. Similarly, in laptop, the form factor changes, the size changes. Mobile is smaller, then we have a laptop which is somewhat bigger, and in between we have the tablet. So this is the screen side. I'm talking about the form factor. So in between this laptop and the mobile, we have tablet. So all these power, resources, computing resources, all these are somewhat different here depending upon the size. There are mobiles which are more powerful than computer also today. So ICT skills, it helped us in various ways. It helped us to communicate, to talk. Even the businesses are running on it or helping it. And also the social life. We can be connected to our friends and family. So now it is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Everyone, you and me, need to learn, need to acquire knowledge about this ICT. So have to have an ICT skill. We need to get updated, stay updated about the latest software and applications. This is now mandatory for everyone. You cannot just ignore it now. that I don't know, I'm not technological savvy, I just don't want, just please help me. No, you have to, everyone has to do it now. So the software in normally the laptops, the workstations, etc., we call them as softwares. Software are nothing but a program written in certain programming language. Now, when this software is in your mobile or tablet, it becomes apps. They are smaller software, you can say. Computer, it has two main parts, or you can say two main pillars. One is hardware, the other one is a software. So a computer system or a computing device consists of two main parts, hardware and the software. The physical part or the tangible part which you can see and touch is hardware. Like this monitor. Hard means it has to be, the meaning is very clear, hard. So you are able to touch it, feel it. So the machinery of a computer, it can have, say, keyboard, a monitor, CPU, RAM, ROM, the motherboard. All these are hardware. Now, what is the second pillar of any computing device? Is a software. So, software, we cannot see it. It is intangible. But basically, these are instructions written in certain programming language. And now these instructions instruct the computer or the computing device to do what? For example, we write code in C, C++, Java, Python. We are not able to see it. We can just feel it, the result that, okay, A plus B we have written. We are getting the result of addition. This is the instruction. So Windows 8 can only be seen. It cannot be, it can be felt, but cannot be touched. So this operating system is a software, is the basic software, which will make the hardware work the way we intend to do it. We have certain instruction on the basis of which the hardware is going to run. See this monitor. This is a physical device. So whenever we start a program, for example, a game, it will be displayed on the monitor. It will show you text, it will show you images, it can show you videos and whatnot. So hardware is dormant without software. Software is the life, is the key, is the brain, everything for a hardware. Because without software, hardware has no meaning. It will run only because we have certain software, code written. There are certain programs also, there are certain coding which is done in your hardware only, that are called hardwired program. For example, BIOS, for example, POST. BIOS is basic input output system. Before, when you push your button of on your computer or computing device, the BIOS will run. And that means, if you see, your computer will have a HP or a Lenovo coming. How does it is coming when the operating system is still not being handed over the control? This is through BIOS, and this is already hardwired. These are hardwired. POST, Power on Self-Test, BIOS. So this is BIOS and POST are hardwired program. Basically, they are software only, but they are hardwired. So these are the example of certain software in which we can do various daily activities like making presentation, like some typing activity, some gaming, or various other things like say social media, browsers. So mobile devices like our smartphones and tablets, these are all coming under this computer system only because they also have a hardware and a software. And all depends on this form factor. Form factor is the size. For example, you have 5-inch, 4-inch, 3-inch. So these comes at a mobile. If it goes up to 10-inch screen, then it becomes a tablet. The screen I'm talking about is always computed diagonally, the size. If it goes up to 14, 15, then it becomes say a computer, personal computer or a laptop. 30-inch, it may be a workstation. So we have hardware also and software also here. This is the smallest form factor. The higher one is this one, and the more higher one this one. There are others also which we are not talking about. We are just talking about what we should discuss now, because they are mainframes, they are workstations, there are servers, they are supercomputers. So there are so many computing devices, and they all have hardware and software. All are having different form factors. So software plus hardware This hardware have electronic devices. Software are the instruct the hardware devices to do certain thing. For example, the processor. The processor is the main processing unit inside this. So operating system is the key software. There are softwares, so key software is operating system. For example, in your house, your mother is earning, so she is the operating system. Your father is earning and he is taking care of every one of you. He is the operating system of your house. That is, all the software like you, me and you, your sister, all are dependent on your operating system. Operating system is also your father is making home, your mother is making home, buying home and making food, everything operating system is doing. So your father, mother can be, you can understand like this. So when the system will, you'll switch it on, it will check all the hardware parts whether they are running successfully or not. Means they have to be in a working condition. So once this is done, this is called BIOS. So we have hardwired program already in ROM, read-only memory. So when the initial BIOS or POST, power on self-test is done, now the control is given to operating system. Now the computing system will be dealt or will be handled by operating system. Before that we have BIOS, which is already done by the hardware, but after that now it is all by operating system. So operating system we have on laptops and desktops like Ubuntu, Microsoft Windows, Mac OS. Ubuntu is basically a Linux version. Linux. Mobile devices, computing devices, they also have operating system now. We have Google Android. Now every Samsung mobile has an Android operating system. Apple has iOS operating system. So these are different operating system which are running the hardware. So all computer application like the browser, games, office tools, these are all software programs. As I said, operating system is also a software, but is the biggest software. And operating system is an interface between your hardware and software. So whatever you do today, either on any computing devices, these are mere applications of software which are running on certain operating system and which are on the background holding, or you can say controlling the hardware to give you output. So these are different operating system which I wanted to show you: iOS, Android, Windows we have, and BlackBerry. So operating system is basically a very, very, very big software which is controlling the different software which are installed on it, and also different hardware which are there in that computing devices. So again, let me tell you, operating system is an interface between hardware and software. It by itself it is a software, though operating system are generally written in assembly language. The first thing first is, whenever you wake up in the morning, what do? You start a computer. Even if you buy a computer, you start a computer. So how does it work? Let me take a real life example. Now you see here, before powering it on, now when a kid wakes up and the father or mother tells, do your homework just now. You have just woken up. You need to be first, you had 8 hours of sleep. Now you have to go to toilet, loo, pee, you have to do brush, breakfast, then only you will be ready for the day. You can now relate it to computer. When you switch on the computer, you cannot directly give the commands. So when the computer is switched on, there are certain background basic process. The computer has to check all the different parts which are making a computer. That is a RAM, that is a ROM, that is a hard drive, processor, all these peripheral devices, whether they are working or not. Only then the computer will be ready to take your instruction. So these are the basic processes and functions which are done before a computer can take your instruction. So we have BIOS, basic input output system, and the POST, power on self-test. All these are run to find out whether RAM is working properly or not, hard drive is working properly or not, the monitor is working properly or not. So now when this is done, the computer or the hardware will give control to operating system. So now operating system is open. You can log in now and start working. Now it can take your instructions. So whenever you switch on your computer, before giving you instruction or before the computer can take your instruction, this is what you see. There are certain instructions which are running. So in the morning, if you wake up, you need at least a cup of tea, 5 or 10 minutes to make that sleep go away, which is still in your eyes. So in order to be available or ready for the day, you need some time. Similarly, computer also needs some time. So this is the basic input-output system, that is all input-output system peripheral devices which are computer connected, whether they are working in the way the computer would want, or they are technically or say electronically well or not, they are medically fit or not, in electronic terms. So BIOS does a self-test. So this all self-test is done. Once this everything is okay, now BIOS will now load operating system. Operating system will not be loaded at first. BIOS, POST will be done, and then BIOS is actually a hardware program. It is a software, but it already in the ROM. It is already hardwired in the form of wire and diode and triode and all those electronics background. So this operating system is now loaded by the BIOS once all the other things are being checked, and now this operating system will get up, it will run, and now it is ready to take your inputs, user inputs. Before that, you will not be able to give instruction. You have to sit for 5-10 minutes or say 2-3 minutes, then only things will be done. Log in and log out. This is your house. This is your house door. Now, whenever you come inside your house, you always have a lock and key. Whenever you go out, you will always lock and key, means lock your house. Why do you do that? Because this house belongs to you and you don't want any other person to enter. Similarly, in computer also, in computing devices also, you have a lock and key, and that lock and key is similar to username and password in your computer, in your computing device. So whenever you go out, you log out. That is, you log out and allow other person to enter. Sometimes if you don't lock your house, it is highly likely that people who have malicious intent, who are criminals, they can come inside. Okay, they can give rise to some theft. So just like we keep our cupboards locked, we need to keep our computer also locked when we are not working. That is, the data inside your computer is like the valuable items you have in your house. So you don't want any unauthorized person to see or make changes to your information if you have not permitted him or her. In order to do this, make sure your computer is logged always. You have different keys, like your father, your mother, or say your wife have different keys. Means they also have their keys to enter the house. That is, there are people who are working on this computer, they will have some login ID and password which is equal to the key or the lock in your house. So when you log in into your computer, a login ID, that is login identification, and password code. So you have a different space for different people in your computer, so that place is reserved for your data, the other place is reserved for the other person. So no other person, unauthorized person can enter, and once you finish your work, you can log out, other person can enter. When you shut down your computer, that is, you're working on a computer, now you want to shut down your computer. So what do? Whenever you sleep, you switch off your this light. So this is the general practice. Similarly, while you're not working in your computer, maybe you are not working maybe for 1 or 2 days. Today, laptop can go to hibernation, etc. But when you switch off or turn off your computer, the way it was shut, or you can say whenever you do shut down, you have to think about how it was powered on. Because when it was powered on, there was BIOS, there was post. So operating system was given control. Operating system did so many activities like the memory management, like the resource management, all these. Now, when all these things have been done, the ladder or the way, the path, the process, it was being turned on, you have to turn off or shut down in the similar way. You cannot just press the button and assume that your system will work fine the next time. So there are ways, there is a proper procedure to shut down your computer. So if you want to actually power off your computer, you shut down. If you just want to go out, allow other person to enter, you can log out. If you're going for, say, some short work, you can lock screen. And if your some application is not working properly or some problem is there, you can restart your computer. The thing is, there are different ways. Locking this screen, log out, suspend, shut down, all these are there. Keyboard. If I give you the schematic of a computer or any computing device, there are three key parts. One is input, one is output, the middle one is processing. So until you give any input, what is the use of output or processing? So there are certain ways in which you can give input. This is through mouse, joystick, and the most common one is the keyboard. This keyboard. There are different types of keyboard, QWERTY keyboard, ASDF keyboard, different types of keyboards are there. So this keyboard may not be your keyboard. Your keyboard might be different. You also have a virtual keyboard now. You can enter through your finger. So you can type text, numbers and command into the computer. So basically you are inputting things. How many parts we can divide this keyboard, or what are the keys you have? Function keys. This function key, normally we have 12 function key, 11 to 12 function keys here. So F1 to F12, these are the function keys and they have very specific function. Normally we see if we press F1, whichever program you are working upon, the help will open. So help will open whenever you press F1, and this is true for other function keys also. So as I said, there are different keyboards. This keyboard might not be your keyboard. So some keyboards, they may have fewer or lesser function. But what are the keys? These are the control keys I am showing you. These control keys are control, the space bar. This is the space bar is the longest one. Shift, Alt, caps lock, tab. Tab is for 4 spaces. Caps lock is for to make the character uppercase or lowercase. Alt is a combination of key. You combine this Alt, for example, Control Alt delete, or say Shift delete will delete everything without sending it to the recycle bin. Now you have this another set of keys. You see here Enter key. This is also a big key. It is L-shaped. So this is Enter key. So the label on this key can be either enter or return. Basically it was called carriage return earlier. That is why this is return. So this is used to send commands and to confirm a task. This also depends on what application you are working. So most of the time you are saying yes to something. Punctuation keys. Whenever you are typing, you need punctuation mark because you are maybe writing in English or some other language. For this you need colon, semicolon, question mark, single question, these single quotes and double quotes. So there are certain keys here and these are the punctuation mark key. Some of the punctuation mark can directly be accessed. Some of them can be accessed using shift. Because in a key, if there are two labels or symbol being shown, the upper one will be only accessed pressing shift. Navigation key. Whenever you move, you are in motion, you say you are navigating. Similarly here, home, arrow keys, and page up, page down. So this is used to move up and down, right, left. You have to go up and down, page up, page down. While you are typing something, you have to go to the front or to the end. This is done through navigation key. This is all about voyage. motion, moving around a page or the document. So these are the navigation keys. So these keys will help you to easily navigate through the software, through the program, through the app, or through your document. Then we have the command keys. Command keys, for example, I am writing APK. Now just insert at P and press D. The P will be replaced by D. This is insert. Delete is what? Delete will always delete the character coming after delete. Backspace will always delete the character which is coming before it. So insert has to be turned on and turned off whenever you want it. Delete and backspace is also there to remove type text, characters, and there are other things also it does. So if you see here, we have these are combination. So these are command keys, as I said: insert, delete, backspace. So if you see the above one, it is showing the command keys. These in green you can see the command keys, and the arrow is also pointing to the command key. So it depends on which software, which application you are working on. Since we have keyboard as an input device, one more device to easily maneuver, to easily navigate and move on the screen is mouse. So mouse has a left button, it has a right button, it has a central scroll. So the right button is normally the right click and left click. One is for your enter, the other is for opening the menu. The scroll is for scrolling, or you can say navigating through the document or the application or the browser. So mouse is a small device. It looks like a mouse that you can move, you can use to move, select, open items on your computer screen or your device. So this is right click, left click, and scroll. So we have certain options which we can perform using a mouse: drag and drop, double click, single click, hover. So let me take a proper example here. So I'll just take you to a new folder here, and this is new folder. Now I'm trying to show you how mouse works. This is the mouse, the arrow. Now I'm opening new, I'm right clicking and then opening a new document. Say it's a Word document, and let us say I name it as doc1. What I can do again is, if I just pull it, it drags, and leave it. Pull and leave, it will be equivalent to copy. You can also right click and delete it whenever you want. So now because I deleted it or cut it, Control V I am doing. So it is copying, Control V. I am using keyboard now. You can right click and copy and paste also through mouse. I have made 2 documents. Now let us make some other one, say bitmap image. This new bitmap image. So you see here, when I move, what happens? When I'm moving it, the blue line, if you see, the blue broad line, it is like hovering. I'm saying the mouse is used to hover and say go from one place to another. So this is rolling over and hover, I'm trying to tell you. So this is, we are hovering, we are going or moving. So this is rolling over or hovering. Okay. Now then point and click. If you just hovering, you are not clicking, but when you hover and then click, it's single click. Now you are selecting. When I am double clicking it, it is opening. Single click is for selecting, double click is for opening. And when you don't click, you are just hovering. So first you hover, then you single click, then you double click. This is the whole procedure you will do. Point and click you have seen. Then you have drag and drop. For that, let me make a new folder. So I'm making a new folder here, and now I'm just taking my mouse, clicking, and now I'm pressing the finger, I'm not leaving it, and now I'm dragging it in, putting it above this new folder. So now this I have taken a document, dragged it and put it on a new folder. Now this document is now in a new folder. As I said, first I hovered, single clicked, double clicked, and then I also dragged it. And when I dragged it, I just opened the new image, which is actually blank right now. Right click, left click. Right click will show you all the options. Also, the number of software which you have, they will also come here. They will also show you that what all possibilities you have. I can cut it. I can paste it here also. So I have to cut the document from new folder, pasted it again to the same place. I can also delete, right click and delete. So there are a number of options which are there. More options you try, more you will learn. So this is how you work on a mouse or with a mouse. Now coming to the question and answer. This is the NCERT answer I am going to show you. This is the book answers. First one is, which of the following functions is not performed using a mouse? Not performed. As I just told you, we hovered, we right click, we dragged and drop, but turn on is not there. Turn on, mouse is not doing. You just have to physically do it. Physically press a button that will turn on your computing device or computer. Second one is, what is the term used when you press and hold the left mouse key and move the mouse around? Move the mouse around. So if I told you this is what I did. I dragged it and placed it over a new folder so that it went to a new folder. So this is dragging. The answer is dragging. So this is the term used to press hold like this. And here are the steps that takes place when starting a computer. Rearrange the steps in the correct order. So what do you do first? First thing, what do you do? First thing, when you open a computer or turn on your computer, first thing will be BIOS, and that will do the power on self-test, POST. So power on self-test will start first. This is the first thing. And then this I'm indicating as 1. Then we have operating system now starts. Once the post is done, the control is given to operating system. Now it is starting. When the operating system is starting, you will get a welcome screen. That welcome to this operating system. Then what do you get? Then you get a login screen. So it will ask for your credential, login and password. Once you log in and password, then a desktop will appear after login. And here you can start your work and start giving your instructions. So C, D, E, B, A like this. What is the function of the enter key? So enter key or carriage return. So when you see the label of the key, it will be either enter or return. And this depends on the brand of the computer you have. The enter or the return key is used to move the cursor. I'll just show you an example. This is our document. Let me open it through mouse. And I'm going to type here something. When I type, I'm typing it through keyboard. Let me just expand it. Now if I enter, it will go to the next line. So enter is used for various purposes. If I close this file, if I cancel this file, I want to say close this file. So all these options, they are taking it as enter. If you press enter, it will be saved. So for confirmation also, this enter is used. So for editing also it is used. For confirmation also it is used. So it moved to the cursor to the beginning of new line. In some program, it is used for confirmation also. How will you prevent others from using your computer? So you have a house. How do you prevent people from coming inside when they are unauthorized? You have not given them permission. You use a lock and key it. Means you close your door through lock. It can be a normal lock, it can be an interlock, it can be a digital lock. So if you want to prevent computer from any authorized access, then you must have a login and password so that nobody can enter. So this will ensure that no unauthorized person or any person who wants some unauthorized access, he wants to see and make changes. The ID and password, these are like key, and they are to be used by anyone who want to enter this, because it will match the computer database. Then only it will let you in. Okay, this is all about this discussion. Thank you so much and take care of yourself.